Hey guys, so I wanted to address a couple of questions I got from my last video on the settings I use for the birds in flight. And the first 15 or 20 minutes when I'm going through all the settings, that was probably my third or fourth take because of all of the airplanes flying over, and I just had to keep redoing it. And by the time I got to the third or fourth take, I had already set up the function buttons, and that was one of the main questions I got was, how did I program those my sets into the function button so I can quickly change between the birds in flight settings to the birds sitting in a tree settings, right? So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I do that. So first thing we'll do today, alright, is let me just go ahead and do a quick factory reset so we're all on the same page here. And let me also brighten up the screen because we're outdoors. So hopefully you can see that better. Okay, now for the birds in flight settings, basically I can do a couple of them here, but I won't go through them all. We'll just do 9-point focus points. We'll change this to continuous low, anti-shock. We'll change this to large fine. Change this to centered metering, change this to continuous autofocus, and we'll go into shutter priority. Double check my settings here. Yep. Roll this up to, roll the shutter speed up to 2000, and we'll set the auto ISO to 6400, and change the JPEG to superfine, and I think that's it. So what took like 15 or 20 minutes I just did in about a minute, right? So let's save that into the my set, okay? And I think on that video I programmed that into my set number 4, but let me show you that. So you go into shooting menu 1, my set, go down to my set 4, click over to the right, okay? You see this little arrow next to the thing that always tells you there's more on the right. So you can click over to the right, and then I click OK here. See, it says set current shooting mode and settings. Okay, and that's important, okay? If you just click OK right here, it's asking you if you want to set everything that's saved there. No, you want to do the opposite. You want to save everything and set it there. Okay, so let's not do that. Okay, now for the single shot, like birds in a nest on a tree kind of settings, all I did there was I changed to aperture priority, and then I go into the super control panel and I change this, instead of continuous low, I change this to single anti-shock. And you'll notice when we're in large fine plus raw. We'll change this to single. And I'm going to fine tune this a little bit. I'm going to change this 9-point focus window here to just be single point. Okay, a super fine single point, and click OK. Because sometimes you got to focus between some branches, right, of a little tiny bird. So I changed this, and I didn't do that in the previous video, but I'm doing it here for you. Okay, and let me check the control panel. And the other thing you should do that I didn't do in the previous video is probably change this to large superfine plus raw, if you like to process raw files. So that way you capture the most detail possible, right? Okay, and I think that about sums it up. Okay, we are in center weighted metering. Okay, that looks good. So now I have my single shot bird on a branch type setting. So let's save that to my set number 3. Okay, we'll just go to my set number 3, click over to the right, click OK, and we're all set. Okay, so now I've programmed my set number 4 and I programmed my set number 3. So my set 4 is the birds in flight, my set 3 is the single shot birds on a branch. Alright, now let's program those to the function buttons. And if you remember, or you probably know, this is function 1, which I had set earlier to magnify. This is function button number 2. This is function button number 3. Okay, and they're all labeled on the EM10 Mark II. If you have another Olympus camera, they should be labeled as well, but hopefully you have at least 2 function buttons you can program. Okay, let's see. Now, to program the function buttons to whatever those my sets were, you just go into the button. You can do it 2 ways. Okay, the shortcut way is in the Super Control panel. You just go into the Super Control panel and you click over here to FN1 function, right? And you click OK. And that's basically a shortcut to what you see here. It says the button function menu. Okay, and then you can start doing what I'm about to go into. If you don't use the Super Control panel, the other way to do it is go into the main menu, scroll down to custom menu, scroll over to button dial, click over right again, click over onto button function, okay, click OK here, and now you're back to the same menu that we were at when we did it through the Super Control panel. Okay, now let's program function button number 2, this first one here over by the record button and the dials. Okay, so that would be this one. Right now the default setting is multifunction. To change that, again, you see the little right arrow next to it? That means I can click right on the arrow pad, and then I can scroll up and down and change that to whatever I see available here. And one of the settings available is my set number 3. Okay, remember we programmed a single bird and a branch type settings to my set number 3, so all I have to do is click OK. Now let's program function button number 3, the one over here by the power switch. It's the same exact thing. We just scroll down until we see my set number 4, which was the birds in flight settings, and click OK. And then function 1, if you remember, I programmed to be the magnify button, right? So it's the same thing. You click over to the right, and then you scroll down until you see magnify. Oh, there it is, and click OK. And that's it. That's all there is to programming the function buttons to the my sets that I'd set up for the birds in flight. So let me just take a minute and thank everybody for the really kind feedback and comments I got and suggestions. I really appreciate that. If you have any other questions, or I missed something in the video, or you have some suggestions for other videos, just let me know, okay, in the comments below. Thanks again for watching, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.